What's going on, everyone? Sauce Kenny here. Today's episode 76. First live stream after Donald Trump's historic landslide victory. I want to talk about the Trump effect for a while. It's been 3 days since Donald Trump's been president, not president elect. You know, we got to do it official over here. 3 days since Donald Trump's historic landslide victory already. The UE says it wants to buy American natural gas to avoid Trump's tariffs. The tariffs is already working. Putin says he will sell Russian oil in US dollars. Oh, that's good. Hamas is calling for peace. Zelensky held a private call with Trump and Elon Musk. Mexico broke up a migrant caravan headed for America. Nature is healing. And I wanted to kind of bring this up is because I want to bring up the 15 like pivotal events that really led to Donald Trump's victory. I think I'm still in disbelief, and the left is out here coping with the fact that Donald Trump won the election in a landslide. They're making tweet posts. They're making these little snarky remarks like, "Oh, how come the Republicans ain't surprised or acknowledging that the Democrats conceded the election so easily?" And one of my comebacks to that point, that talking point, is the election wasn't even close enough for you to even consider that a possibility. Like if Kamala Harris did not concede after that ass whooping she was getting, you would have been delusional. So yeah, 2020 and 2024 is not the same. You won by like a couple thousand votes here, 1,000 votes there, where people would be able to have the idea of challenging the election. While in 2024, it was a complete blowout. Like you had no shot. Like you would be delusional to not concede. So I don't think 2020 and 2024 election are the same things, but you got liberals trying to make that point. But I digress. I wanted to start off the video with an interesting post that I seen about the 15 pivotal moments that many people are considering propelled Donald Trump to victory, right? The first one is when Elon Musk purchased Twitter, right? Everyone remember this moment? Oh. And how this effectively had earth-shattering ramifications that resulted from one man's drive to preserve free speech. Without this, the information environment for 2024 is vastly different as Twitter 1.0. This is the catalyst. This was the catalyst here. And the left, they try to bankrupt him. They try to do everything. They try to mock him. They try to say, "Oh, Twitter's not the place to be anymore. It's what was that, Mastodon? What was the other Twitter alternatives?" They try to move away from here because they knew, oh, we lost this ground. We lost this our ability to sway public opinion in our favor, and they lost it. Trump's mugshot, when this was released, everyone remember this moment. To millions, the iconic photo. People made rap songs about it, right? The liberals were gloating of it. Oh my God, they loved this. The mugshot. They loved it. Oh my God, we got him. We got him. He's going to jail. He's going to jail. Oh, and what? You did all that for what? Just to get swept in the 2024 election. You love to see it.
Criminal defendant and former President Donald J. Trump, presumed innocent until proven guilty, in accordance with the rule of law, for his sake and for ours. Whatever you think of the photo, this is not something to take lightly. Our constitutional republic depends on the very basic concept of rule by.
What? MSNBC said our constitutional republic? Look at the words, huh?
Law, not ruled by man. A constitutional standard under which a president is still just a citizen, and all citizens have equal standing before one system of law which applies equally to everyone. The rule of law and the health of our democracy depend not just on the conduct of this criminal case, but on our ability as citizens to take this with the sort of heft that it needs, to look at this and see it as American citizens who prize country above politics and who ourselves prize the law rather than the fate of any one man. We have never been here before, or we are forced.
Look how happy Rachel Maddow was, boy.
To consider an American president as a suspected and indicted felon, but here we are. It's remarkable itself that we have had 3 previous arrests and indictments of Trump, and none of them produced a mugshot, but Fulton County just decided to do it.
Yeah, that worked out a lot for them. Trump destroys the political future of Joe Biden at the debate. This is pivotal moment number 3 in the timeline. After declaring videos of clearly cognitive declined Joe Biden were cheap fakes. Remember that? Remember the whole cheap fake saga? This is literally a story timeline of how the mainstream media literally try to gaslight us into not voting for what we got today. The Trump effect. You see it. World leaders want to make peace now. China wants to get in good favors with the U.S. Russia want to sell their oil in U.S. dollars. The European Union wants to buy oil from America after we reignite the Keystone Pipeline that Joe Biden shut down. We're literally getting a timeline of this, right? So here's a debate, right? When Joe Biden thought he was going to still be the nominee, he was going to run for a second term.
I've changed the law. What's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
Trump's face.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people.
I've changed the law.
Right? Oh, I have to leave this on. 4, the assassination attempt in Butler. This, I thought, hey, look, once I saw this, I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way we're going to let this man nearly die fight for this country and not elect him as president. Like, imagine that. Imagine we did that. A small turn of the head saved Trump's life, but the biggest story became of what he did immediately after, when he rose up to urge his supporters to fight, fight, fight. That moment came to symbolize his warrior spirit. However you want to say about it. Remember, the left wanted to say, it was staged, because they knew the significance of this moment. They knew if it was any of their candidates, they wouldn't be saying fight, 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 fight. They'll be like, run, save my life. Oh. And it showed, this man really is going to put his life on the line for the country, and he's still running. He's still speaking. I think American people can get behind that. They're like, we want someone who's willing to literally die for us. Can a Democrat say that? I'm speaking. That's the toughest thing that Kamala ever said in her life. What's the toughest thing you ever been through, Donald Trump? I almost got killed, and then I got up and galvanized my people not to be intimidated by political violence. And then at the same time, the mainstream media try to say that Donald Trump is responsible for the assassination attempt on him because of his violent rhetoric. And I'm like, that's a sorry excuse for a talking point, because then you have to somehow tell me that Donald Trump is suicidal. Usually when you excite political violence, it's usually against your political rival, not against yourself. But this is the narrative the mainstream media wanting you to listen to. I digress. Pivotal moment number 5. Democrats force Biden out of the race and anoint Kamala Harris as the nominee. In the wake of Biden's destruction at the hands of Trump at the debate, his fate was sealed. Instead of running a primary at their convention, the DNC party leaders made the fateful decision to anoint Kamala Harris, someone who never got a vote.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both.
This is who y'all ran. Democrats, no primary, no one voted for her, no one know who she is. She just got pushed into the position. Then y'all got mad. We call her a DEI hire, right? You only want us to vote for her because she's a black-looking mixed woman running for president. That's the only reason you wanted us to vote for her. But when we asked for policies, she took how many months? Damn near 2 months to put out a policy. Took her damn near 2 months to do an interview with the media. But you want to pretend that she ran a perfect campaign? Kiss my black butt. I'm black. I'm not stupid. RFK, the pivotal moment number 6. And I think this is one of the biggest pivotal moments. When RFK decided to endorse Donald Trump, that's when Donald Trump solidified himself as the centrist candidate. There was no way in hell Kamala Harris was going to beat Trump to the center. Because this is what this election was about. Who is closer to the middle? Donald Trump solidified himself as the middle candidate the moment RFK aligned himself with Donald Trump. Let's play a snippet of it, the moment.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Assembling a dream team: Elon Musk, RFK, Tulsi, Vivek, Vance, Rogan, symbolic of the unity ticket that formed to break up traditional party lines in favor of a new, powerful political alliance. How can you vote against this, right? But Donald Trump is far right. I thought with extremist movement, there's no way that you can find some, common ground with people. All right, but if you listen to Kink Yogurt, he'll say, "Oh, he's a con man," but he already said, remember, but Donald Trump said this in the debate. Remember, the mainstream media was laughing at Donald Trump when he said that in the debate. If you make me president, before I even become president, I'll get the phone with Putin, I'll get the phone with Zelensky, and I already will organize a peace deal. These people were saying, well, how he's going to do that as president-elect? Couple months later, everything Trump said he said he could do already happened. Stock market skyrocketed. The threat of tariffs already got the European Union asking to buy our oil. Russia to say, I'm not only going to do a peace deal, I'm going to take your peace deal seriously, Donald Trump. I'm willing to sell my oil in your dollar, which is going to strengthen the dollar and help with inflation. Donald Trump already making impact. And I'll show a case of that. Many people are already talking about the Trump effect. I'll reiterate it here. Pivotal moment number 7. Citizen journalism on X exposed CBS 60 Minutes by revealing the deceptive evidence made to hide Kamala's bumbling incompetence. A user created a story the Trump campaign used to demonstrate to the world the corrupt nature of the propaganda press. This, I think, is one of the most pivotal. A lot of these are interlinked. Elon buys X. People feel like they have the ability to express and highlight and present exactly what they're seeing to the masses.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary.
Which further highlighted the bias many people felt, right? Pivotal moment 8, Kamala inadvertently coins her new slogan, "There's not a thing that comes to mind." Now, for all the Kamala supporters that sat here and said, no, she ran a perfect campaign, the only reason she lost was because of racism and sexism of Hispanic and black men and white men. It's because she's a woman. America couldn't handle a woman leading the country. No, it's because she said she could not think of anything differently that she will do from her president, her fellow party member. She couldn't think of anything differently that she would do, and this sealed her fate. Because if you pay attention, if a lot of these Kamala supporters look outside of themselves for once, you'll realize majority of the country, 70% of the country, said we're going in the wrong direction. And if your candidate, who's supposed to be like hope and change, we running on joy, if that's your candidate's message, but in the same breath, she says she cannot think of a single thing that she will do differently than Joe Biden, you deserve to lose, right? You deserve to lose. Here, let's play the 17-second clip. You deserve to lose.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
You heard? I was a part of the most of the decision. Of course you were. 33 tie-breaking votes. Kamala Harris, the most amount of tie-breaking votes via vice president. So pretty much when the country was saying, hey, we're going in the wrong direction, you helped Biden 33 times to pass his agenda that set us on the path in the wrong direction. You take full credit for that. Obama insults black man at a rally for Kamala Harris. I don't even need it. In his typical arrogant, condescending fashion, which I will say is common for most liberals, most Democrats, and they still are. If you look online, and you're going to see a lot of this arrogant and condescension, right? Liberals want to sit here and lie to me in my comment section in my face saying they're not condescending and they're not arrogant, but look at how they tweet. Look at how they talk. And I'm going to show you an example of this as we go through the live stream together. Obama managed to encapsulate one of the main reasons why Trump secured a higher percentage of black men voters than he ever before, as he lectured everyday Americans on what they're supposed to do. Do I even need to play it? No. The 10th, Elon Musk campaign in Pennsylvania in support of his America PAC, giving $1 million to random selected signers of a petition pledging to support the Constitution and to rally Trump support. Musk conduct town halls across the critical swing state. Pivotal moment 11. Joe Biden calls Trump supporters garbage, and I think this is what really, really engaged the base, right?
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Now, I took this as he sabotaged Kamala's campaign, right? Dark Brandon strikes again. It's your boy, Dark Brandon. Donald Trump goes on Joe Rogan's podcast. I think Barron Trump deserves all the credit for this. But this essentially threatens the media apparatus because people are tired now of snippets, edited clips. You give a certain framing, and we saw an example of this with CNN. They showed a guy a clip, and they edited it in a way where like they jump a lot of the context out, and they got the guy to react to a certain clip, and he reacted to it thinking that Trump meant for Liz Cheney to be in a firing squad. Then on his own time on X, we watched the full clip and he gave a statement saying, hey, CNN showed me an edited clip without all this context, and I assumed that he meant to send Liz Cheney in a firing squad. Therefore, I made this statement in error. See how CNN set people up? But this was phenomenal. 13. Kamala decides to hitch its fortunes on to defend the Liz Cheney hopes. Trump somehow managed to make the Kamala campaign tie their presidential fortunes to defending a wildly unpopular neocon. Amazing. Here's how Kamala regurgitated the hoax that was wildly spread by fake news.
And then, even worse, he has increased his violent rhetoric, Donald Trump has, about political opponents, and in great detail, suggested rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney.
That probably seals her fate. Like, Liz Cheney lost her, Wyoming? I don't know where she's from. She got voted out by the Republican Party, by conservatives. Conservatives voted her out. She lost. And you want to align with her? Only liberals could have believed that. The Lincoln Project made a lot of money hustling the Democrats and liberals out of their money. Lincoln Project, good job. Number 14. Peanut the squirrel is euthanized in New York. The unjust killing of Peanut not only elicited an outpouring of fury and sadness over his senseless cruelty, it shone a very bright light on the dangers of Democrat-led government overreach and cold, callous nature of the attack, right? Psst. Hey, I just think Democrats just hate happy people. Scott Pressler. No, this should be Charlie Kirk in my view. Right? But that's it. That's all I have for the pivotal moments. Let's talk about my favorite topic, identity politics. Or should I skip it and move to something else? Let me think. Because there's a lot I really want to get into. No? The mainstream media, they still don't want to talk about it. For F it, we'll talk about it. So I want to talk about the Trump effect and how Trump essentially became a protest vote against identity politics. As you know, as you can plainly see, I talked to my dad this morning. Me and my dad are happy Trump won because me and my father voted for Trump. My mom voted for Kamala Harris, and I still have not talked to her because, I didn't give her time. I'm going to show you the meltdowns as well. But I want to talk about identity politics, right? And the fact that you still got these liberals, even after Trump wins, even after Trump increases his support with Latinos, with blacks, they still want to throw out the racism theory that Trump appeals to racists. You see why I say, hey, Democrats, fascism, don't use that word for a while. Racism, get it out of here. Sexism, get it out of here. Because these people do not think whatsoever. So let's take a quick snippet of what they have to say.
Just today, and you said it is time for us to accept that American politics is identity politics. Tell us what you meant by that.
I meant that we have spent a lot of time, and by we, again, I mean myself, people in the media, I think academics, researchers, and politicians certainly have spent a lot of time saying that identity politics is dangerous, or at least it's murky, right? This is why we said Occupy was a distraction for the Democrats. Black Lives Matter was a distraction for the Democrats, right? The feminist movement is a distraction for the Democrats because they won't focus on real issues that matter to real Americans.
If you had listened to that, maybe your candidate would have done a lot better. And this is what we're talking about. You focus on superficial ish that no one had any control over, but you don't want to focus on the issues that the candidates and the administration actually had control over. Bills that you pass, the fact that you revoked executive orders because just to spite Donald Trump, right? You released the border, you would have revoked 92 executive orders that helped secure the border. You did all that, and for what? To give us a bad result. And then 2023, 2024, your candidate throws a Hail Mary and then tries to pretend, look, border crossings is down by 40%. Yes, but overall, in 2 years, you had more border crossings, more people, more illegals coming to this country than Trump his entire term. And you think you're doing a good job. But you want to focus on racism, the boogeyman of racism, where racism is not only a personal thing, it's an individual thing. Not every black person faced racism, but now you want to pretend they do. Oh, it's institutional. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's systematic. But you're voting for Democrats. You're voting for Republicans. You're participating in the system, but you want to blame systematic racism instead of systematic choices that you made. Everywhere we get in life is due to the collective decisions and actions that we made in the past that gave us the results that we have in the present and in the future. If I chose to invest in Amazon when it was just a startup, when it was just starting out, when it first became available to the public market, if I chose to invest my money in that stock, I'll be millionaire right now. Actions, outcome. But in a community level, in politics, we can't think the same way. Oh, systematic racism holding me back, but you've been voted Democrat for 50 years. Oh my God, Chicago's so bad. So many black lives are lost in Chicago. No one cares unless a white person takes his life. This is the type of stuff we're talking about as a conservative. You want to focus about identity politics and all this ish, but you don't want to highlight the fact that 76% of people that kills black men are black. 76%. You don't want to focus on that identity politics. You don't want to identify the problem. Instead, you want to identify a narrative. White on black crime is the least common interracial crime statistic in the nation. Yet it's highlighted the most in national TV. Why? Because they're trying to push a liberal narrative. They're trying to push a narrative that white man bad, anti-white racism. But if you say anything that is perceived anti-black, oh, it's racist. If you highlight the inconvenient truth, the unflattering truth that black men, even though they're 13% of the population, they're half of the population, that's 13%, they commit 50% of the crimes. And this is why majority of them are in jail they make up a large swath of the population in prisons, in jails, they want to claim it's just racism. It's criminal. We need criminal justice. Racism, the reason why black men are in jail, disproportionately compared. But you don't want to talk about the disproportional actions and decisions black men make to get that outcome. And this is something I always said on my channel. Data doesn't prove a narrative. Data only proves a result. And if you give me the inputs, the data shows you the output. And the inputs are in. Black men are committing disproportionate amount of crime. Therefore, they're going to be disproportionately in jail. Simple. But instead, these liberals here, they want to focus on racism because the truth of identity politics, and then I'll continue with the video. The truth of identity politics is that it is a weapon, it is a shield, it is an alibi to excuse a certain racial group of personal responsibility. And this is what they're doing with Kamala Harris and her loss. Instead of holding her accountable for the actions she take, for the decisions she take, for the candidates that she picked, for the people she surrounded herself in, for her inability to articulate a message, they want to use her race and gender as an alibi to excuse her of personal accountability. But I digress. Let's continue with the clip.
Right. The problem with that is that you assume that the only people with an identity are women and people of color. But as Donald Trump has proven, what he has proven and the way he has won has proven is that every voter has an identity. Every voter has an identity.
That's not profound.
He tapped into one of the most powerful of American identities. He tapped into white identity.
Right.
Right?
I guess I'm an honorary white guy. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about.
And he said, you don't need to be ashamed of this identity. I'm going to...
Like, imagine, like, the things that black people tell themselves, I always go, like, equal and opposite. Okay, would you be comfortable if a white person talked like you did? I'm only for my people. I'm for my people. When they gonna give us reparations? White person. When they gonna care about our interests? When they gonna care about our issues? Oh, that's white supremacy. Oh, so you're allowed to think about your race first, but other groups of people are not allowed to think of their race first? If Asians thought about their race first, they'll avoid black people. And black people will be like, oh, that's racism. And then the Asians are going to pull out a stat sheet. Asian hate crime, the biggest perpetrator, black men. Hispanic community going to come out. I saw the stats. When I seen the stats, I'm like, black people have no place to be talking about racism, hate crimes. Because if the definition of hate crime is if someone of a different race attacks someone of another race and it's immediately believed to be a hate crime, that's the definition that the left like to use, right? If a white criminal hijacks and hurts a black man, they're not going to be like, oh, he's a wealthy black man. He got robbed by a white perpetrator. That's what it is. You know, rich people get robbed by poor people because it's an easier mark. No, they're going to say, oh, no, it was a race. He's a racist. It's racially motivated. If you want to take on that definition, black people commit the most hate crimes in America. Black people, white people, black on white crime is the highest instance. Between interracial crimes, black people perpetrate 85% of them. So if a hate crime is you commit a crime against someone of a different race, black people are the biggest perpetrators across the board. When it comes to Hispanics, when it comes to Asians, and when it comes to white people, black people perpetrate the most crimes against other groups of people. Second is Hispanic, I think, if I remember correctly. Then it's white, then it's Asian at the bottom, which is typical of crime rates anyway. Now, I would just say it's due to the fact that, they grew up in poverty. It's the easier choice to make, I would have said like that because at least I'm consistent. But these race hustlers over here, right, if you want to focus on identity politics, and this is the theory about identity politics, is that if everyone practiced identity politics, black people will be ostracized by everyone else. That's the reality of identity politics. And this is why I don't push identity politics. This is why I tell black people stop pushing identity politics. Because if you take identity politics to its logical conclusions, black people hurt all the other races. And all the other races can literally align themselves with each other against the black folks because the black folks are the biggest danger to all of them. After you take same race crimes, black people are the biggest perpetrators of criminalizing against all the other groups of people. But you want to put out this narrative like it's white people. Make it make sense. Remember, I just gave you a hint. Black people, black men specifically, you like 6% of the population, but you commit 50% of the crimes. Oh, but that's racial profiling. No, it's just you happen to make certain decisions, and those certain decisions have certain outcomes. Jail. But you want to complain about white flight. The quickest people to run away when black people, when they create low-income housing in an area, is black people. It's wealthy black people. Ask Stephen Curry. When they try to create a affordable housing zone near his neighborhood, he was the loudest critic to go against it. He didn't want it in his neighborhood, but he wanted it for your neighborhood though, and that's the problem. You want it for yourself, but you don't want it for other people. Oh, I should be the only one to think exclusively for my race, but God forbid white people decide to do it, then it's racism. Then what were you practicing? Racism. See, I'm consistent. I call it down the middle. You're a racist no matter what your skin color is. And if you say you're not a racist because of your skin color, that proves that you are a racist. Because of your skin color, you say you can't do a thing, make it make sense. If I say you are black and you can't be an engineer, you say that's a racist statement. But you saying I can't be racist because I'm black, that's not a racist statement too? Make it make sense. Tired of this ish.
I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to make you feel good about it, and you don't have to sacrifice a thing. Donald Trump played identity politics like a fiddle. So when you say that the Democrats lose because we play identity politics, it simply isn't true.
Okay, do it again.
This is about whose identities win when you appeal to them. That means you should double down on the identities of your base. You should go out to them. Something I think Democrats really only did.
You know what's a stronger identity? And I'm done listening to this lady talk. I'm done. I feel like I'm done. I don't want to listen to her anymore. You know, I feel like what happened to the Democratic Party, you know what's a stronger identity? I'm a working class man. I'm a homeowner. I'm a Christian. I'm a conservative. That is a stronger identity than my skin color. Because I was born like this. I didn't choose this. I didn't pick this. I didn't have to work to look like this. This is superficial. You want to vote on politics based on this? That's your business. But me becoming a Christian, me becoming a conservative, me becoming a homeowner, me working a certain job, I work for that out of my own free will that is God-given. I chose to be these things. So what's going to hold more weight to my identity? Something that I was born with, I had no choice, I didn't pick for myself, or things that I did pick for myself? I decided to be a conservative. I decided to be a Christian. I decided to be a homeowner. I decided to work at this field, this job, because this is what I think I'll be best served to do in this world, to make a living. These are things I made. That tells me, like, these decisions, me choosing to be a conservative, that tells you more about me than my skin color can ever tell you. Because if I tell you I'm black, okay, you don't know nothing about me. Can you know somebody just because of their skin color? No. And to assume anything else is racist. Just like when you see these liberals talking about, hey, Latinos for Trump. Do you know that you're going to vote for your own deportation? And I'm like, look at these racist idiots here. Look at these racist Democrats. Democrats have always been the party of racism and discrimination. Just because someone's Latino, you assume that they're illegal here? If you're voting in an election, you're an American citizen. But Democrats don't think this far ahead. But this is what happens when you play identity politics. I don't understand why Latino men are voting for Trump. He's planning to deport them all. No, he's not. He's planning to deport illegal immigrants. You know, the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. You know them? He's trying to deport their ass. Not people who came here legally, who are naturalized citizens, or who became legal citizens and then became a citizen. A legal immigrant then became a citizen. He's not talking about these people. But the Democrats, they try to bundle up everybody in the same boat. Oh, immigrants. We're fighting for immigrants. No, you're not. Donald Trump, we make specifics. We're fighting for legal immigrants. We're fighting for Americans. You're fighting for illegal immigrants, and you're trying to mask it all with one word. Oh, we're fighting for immigrants. You see the game? You see the word games? Instead of fighting the reality of what the Democrats are actually doing, instead of coming to terms with the reality of what they're doing, hey, we're rewarding and incentivizing behaviors that goes against our laws. No, we want to justify it. We want to make excuses for it because we benefit politically from it. And no matter how many times you highlight this to a Democrat, to a liberal, they pretend they didn't hear you. But keep pressing identity politics.
Yeah, I hear Maria breaking, and I agree. I think working class Americans did flow towards Donald Trump. But I think if Democrats are dedicated to continually dividing this country up by race all the time, I think one of the things I'm taking away from this was a repudiation of identity politics. And when you look at the huge flows of Hispanics towards Donald Trump, when you look at black men moving towards Donald Trump, they said, we've had enough. We're tired of being singled out for our race.
Exactly.
We'd rather be singled out because we're Americans who have real concerns, and we want to talk to you American to American, not because we're in some racial group. I think it's a total rejection of that, and I think the Democrats would be wise to learn it because the Republicans certainly have. Yeah, I hear
diversity. Except when it comes to opinion. How can you have diversity when you have everyone that looks the same, think the same? Like, think about it. If everyone thinks the same about an issue just because they share the same skin color, can you say that group of people are actually thinking? No way in hell you can say that. This is ridiculous, right? Honestly, something's wrong with these people, bro. Something's wrong. Like, something's genuinely wrong with these people. Right? I got to share something. So now that I'm done railing against identity politics, MSNBC still don't know what they're doing, right? Democrats are losing young men massively. Remember, I forgot his name, James Carwell. He tried to warn the Democrats. Hey, Democrats, your messaging is too feminine, right? Talk about the party of identity politics. We need to double down to identity politics. We need to speak to identity politics. But yet, when someone tells you your message is too catered to women and you're not catering to men enough, you reject that messaging. You see how they pick and choose? They don't even follow their own principles. They talk about, identity politics. We need to double down on identity politics. And how does the liberal Democrats react to this? Democrats are losing young men massively. How does the MSNBC panelists think Democrats can fix it? They need a feminist male version of a Joe Rogan to appeal to young men. I legit can't believe these people are real. Can you believe it? Imagine that. They want a feminist male version of Joe Rogan. You think that's going to appeal to young men? Let's hear it. Because, hey, maybe Clay Travis is making this up. Maybe he's misinterpreting what this person has to say. Let's look for ourselves.
Particularly the media ecosystem it's not a good one. It's a negative one. It's a radicalization funnel. But what they have done.
That's an assumption by you, right? And this is why I can't stand by these liberals, or progressive Democrats. I don't care. Many people on the left, they take this they assume like they're moral already. Like they assume that they're the good guys. Like how they see it is the correct position by default. And that's not something I don't do. I usually take hey, this is my stance. That's the kind of narrative or position that I take. But these people, the way they speak as if they're the moral authority on these issues, when in reality, they're not. I digress, though. I just wanted to highlight that.
In their online media ecosystem is build a radicalization engine, literally the way militant groups do around the world, that takes people from relatively low-level annoyances with the world. Why are eggs so expensive? Why is my kid learning this new thing in American history in school that I didn't learn? And then moves them through YouTube videos, through podcasts, moves them from that annoyance all the way slowly to a full-blown fascist politics. It's an elaborate multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, and there is
fascism. I told you, out of the words of a leftist, it has no meaning anymore.
Nothing like it on the pro-democracy side. We don't have when a man is just lost and lonely and not yet radicalized, we don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
But I think
no,
particularly
everything's a trade-off. Everything's a trade-off. Being with a career woman, trade-off. There's always a trade-off. Stay-at-home mom, there's always a trade-off. Life is about trade-off. Pick your trade-off. But that's what liberals don't understand. They think that this is school and there's only one way to skin a cat. There's only one way to have a marriage dynamic. They can't respect different people's marriage dynamic. Oh, it's okay to have a strong career-driven woman who cares nothing about her family and who put her career over your family. If her boss calls her and say, hey, you got to spend a month away from your family, she's going to say, hell yeah, I'm going to go take care of the kids, bye-bye. Right? The career woman, right? And this is how feminists been taught to condition women. And you see it right now with Gen Z women. They're freaking out. You see TikToks and videos of them going, why did women fight to work? Why did we do that? I didn't ask for this. They complain about how long and stressful their corporate job is. They're stressed about layoffs. Oh, I've been laid off. I've been fired. They just threw me away like I didn't mean anything. I gave 3 years to this company and they just let me go. That's it. Yeah. Thanks for whatever. Your family won't do that to you though. Or at least it's harder for them to do that to you, though. You pick your heart. You pick your trade-offs. Right? But feminists, what they taught to do? Demonize women that live a different lifestyle than them. My wife, stay-at-home mom, full-time mom. I seen it. Feminist friends trying to get her to work. Oh, you shouldn't be living like, trying to put all this doubt and negativity in her head when she's just living a peaceful, content life. And it shows you these liberal feminist women, they're unhappy. They're mentally ill. They're miserable. And they want to spread that misery to all women. And this is why they say, no, women should not have the choice to be stay-at-home moms. That's actually part of feminism doctrine. If you research feminism, if you study feminism, you'll know that many feminists, especially earlier on, they were saying that we should remove the women's ability to be a stay-at-home mom. Look at inflation. Look at the two-income trap that all Americans are falling to. Most Americans have to have two working people. Making it harder to have that stay-at-home wife life. Making it harder for women to choose. Oh, but feminists were about choice. You're about as much choice as a liberal is about political spectrums. I believe everyone should be a feminist and nothing else. This is the logic of the left, right? So then when something falls outside their preview, they're doing retarded stuff like this. Look at this. Look at this. Mentally ill people. Does this look like happy people to you? Where's the 2020 Trump meltdowns? Where are the conservative meltdowns? Where are those? Conservatives just go, damn, we lost the election. How can we improve? How we can get better? And you saw Charlie Kirk? Man came out swinging. I made a video, hey, can Charlie Kirk engage the young vote? I remember I made that video. Many people say, I don't see it happening. The young people are lost. I still have that video. I still remember that video. Now, he's the man of the hour. Everyone want a piece of Charlie Kirk now. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, yo, we don't quit. Don't give up. So what if they doubt you? This is probably my mom somewhere right now. This is why I still haven't called her, because she's very, like, she was like, oh my God, Trump is going to revitalize the KKK if he wins the election. My mom told me that. I'm like, Mom, that didn't happen his first term. It's not going to happen if he wins again. Stop dramatizing this. You're dramatic. It's not like that. You're exaggerating, right? Just like Charlemagne. The minute isn't it convenient? Trump wins the election and he's no longer Hitler anymore. Did they really believe this, or was this just political talk? My mom can't make the distinction. She's probably doing this somewhere. Sorry, Mama. I never meant to hurt you. That's my mom right now. She's somewhere. Hey, I still haven't called her, bro. I just called my dad today, and me and my dad, we had a talk, father and son. My dad was telling me, hell yeah, he used to be involved in politics. I joked around and said it must be in the blood because I like politics just like he did. My dad told me about, like, how corruption happened in Haiti, how Haiti ended up. And my dad said, yo, the Democratic Party reminds me of the party that ruined Haiti. selling out the Haitian government to France and all this other stuff that destroyed our economy, destroyed our governance because they wanted to enrich themselves at the expense of the people. My dad said he sees the Democratic Party just like that. And my dad, this is my dad. My dad says, I don't understand how Haitians are voting for Democrats when the Democrats are the very thing that corrupted and destroyed Haiti. That's what my father said as a Haitian man. As a Haitian immigrant that came here and became a legal citizen. That's what my father told me. And he told me as a warning, me and him, we both voted for Trump 2024. He told me, hey, look, it's going to be up to you young people to protect your country. Because he said, how I see the Democrats, he said, y'all could easily end up like Venezuela. That's a warning from a Haitian immigrant that became an American citizen, my father. I was like, damn, Dad. My dad came here because of political prosecution. Apparently, my dad was part of the opposition party in Haiti, and they were planning to assassinate his butt. I don't know. My dad said he ran to the embassy so fast, I messed it around. And this is how I came to be. And I respect my dad a lot. He put me onto the game about politics. People try to manipulate you, try to get this narrative going on so you could freak out like this. This is why I have such contempt for corporate media. Look how much fear she has in her eyes. Just because a machine called the mainstream propaganda media has convinced her that the world is going to end if this man wins election. Right? These people think evil just finished getting into office. Sad. Look at their face. Distraught. I know we're laughing. I know it's funny, but hey, this is somebody these are people we know, right? People we know are freaking out like this. The most important reason Democrats will not learn from this electoral beating is this. They start from a position that voting for them is a moral thing to do. Look at the freak out. Look at the meltdowns I just showed you. They don't see people on the opposite side as voters to be persuaded. They see them as sinners to be redeemed. Right? As per usual, white women vote for Trump while black women remain the backbone of ethics and justice for this country, according to you, right? Truth, for the Democrat, truth used to be subjective until it comes to who you vote for. Then it becomes something objective, right? That's when they want to appeal to objectivity. That's when they want to appeal to ethics and justice. How is killing your child ethical and justice? Tell me. How is a father voting for Kamala Harris because he wants his daughter to have the right to choose death for his grandkids a responsible thing to do? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, Democrats. This is what I'm talking about. And this is the theme too. The Trump effect is highlighting this. It's exposing this to everybody, every American, that these Democrats, they think they're your moral betters. They think they're better than you, right? And I want to put this clip here of Newsom. Newsom is claiming he's refusing to deport illegal migrants even when Trump takes office. Make it make sense. A president that have more votes than you will ever have, Newsom. The popular vote, he won elections in all across the state. And you sitting here saying, no, I reject the will of the people. I don't care if the will of the people don't want illegal immigrants in this country. They're in my state. Technically, you don't have jurisdiction over these illegal immigrants, these illegal aliens, because they're not citizens of your country. So technically, you don't have jurisdiction over them, Newsom. Because what we found out with the border case in Texas, the government has a responsibility to have jurisdiction over the border of the country, and that supersedes your state. Right? And this is the kind of battling they're trying to do. This is the kind of games these Democrats are playing. And one more thing before I play this clip. America, let's not do California Republicans, California Democrats for a while, Not for a while. Let's just sit on it a good 8 years, okay? No more, no more California presidents for a while, okay? Let's put them to bed. Let's put them in timeout for a little bit because I'm tired of them right now.
The California governor, Gavin Newsom, is now claiming he will refuse to deport illegal migrants when Trump takes office.
What happened to, you can't only love this country when you win. What happened to we respect the choices of the American people? Okay, we want mass deportations. We're tired of sanctuary cities. No. I need sanctuary cities. What happened to putting country over party? What Newsom is doing, he's pretending that he's fighting for his people. He's fighting for his constituency. But I already told you, there's a political motive for keeping illegals into the country. They give them more census. Because if Donald Trump deports these illegal immigrants out of California, he's going to lose electoral votes. He's going to go from 54 electoral votes to possibly 51 electoral votes. That means the voting power, the House representations in California is going to shrink. This is the political motive of Gavin Newsom fighting Trump with mass deportation, because illegals are counted in the U.S. Census. Now, I hope Donald Trump is able to create an executive order or a bill that forces them to say, hey, the U.S. Census can only be, American citizens should only be counted in the U.S. Census. So therefore, no matter what, if he keeps the migrants or he don't, it doesn't boost his power politically. And it's all I see.
Ultimately, renounce the kind of bigotry, the kind of xenophobia that is front and center in discussions and debates like this. I thought the Attorney General was right about the Trump administration having issues with immigrants, but I think he could have been even more pointed, and forgive me, Mr. Attorney General, by saying he has a particular problem with brown people, not even immigrants.
You see the word games? Immigrants. No, illegals. That's what you should have said that first. Illegals. Say what I actually said. If you're going to accuse Trump of something, use specifics. Don't try to group them all up into one group to mask what you're doing. Trying to hide what you're trying to do. Because we know what you're trying to do. You want illegals. Because you benefit from illegals.
The California governor, Gavin Newsom, is now claiming that he will refuse to deport illegal migrants when Trump takes office as president. He also claimed that he thinks Trump has an issue with and dislikes brown people. These statements from the California governor has garnered controversy from commenters online. Commenters claimed that he should be focused on the people living in tents on the street in California, and that this is ridiculous. But what do you think about Governor Newsom?
He's trying to increase his national ID, you know. We already know he's going to try to run for president. We all know what he's going to do, right? We all know what he's going to do. We all knew Gavin Newsom's running for president. He wants to run for president, right? Now, it's amazing how long, right? Glenn Greenwald. It's amazing it takes these people this long to realize how rapidly and severely their significance, relevance, and credibility has sunken, and how they only speak to a tiny bubble of like-minded liberals. But I guess better late than never. I thought it will but I'll doubt it will endure. Axios founder will chastise the media. Let's see. Because this is something I've been calling out a lot, especially on my channel as of late, because I think with the focus being, I know a lot of liberals are asking themselves this question: how the hell did Trump win? He won the popular vote. They gave him the House, the Senate, and the presidency. We're going to lose 2 more chances to elect justices in the court. The liberals right now are thinking this, and I think this is a good opportunity to give them an opportunity. I can't control what liberals do, but at least I try to expose them to the information and say, hey, look, this is why people voted for Trump, bro. But I digress. Let's play the clip.
Jim Vandehei, I want to go back to something Derek Johnson, the head of the NAACP, said a few minutes ago on this show, because you've always been sort of the leading edge of where media is going with Politico, now with Axios. You understand the environment so well. How do Democrats, and frankly, how does legacy media need to change the way it thinks about getting information? I mean, a lot of the voters who went out and voted for Donald Trump, that so many people are wondering what happened here, they're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way. And the Trump campaign found those voters where they live. So how do Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters, if you think that's part of the problem?
For sure. I mean, I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is.
Yep.
It is to you, it is to me. That's a relatively small group of people who rely on us
It is to
for their
boomers.
information. And
it is to boomers, in a smaller degree, Gen X. But as you get younger and younger, it has less significance and less reach the younger you go. Trust the internet more than TV is the model of the young generation. Give me a like on the comment section if you agree with that. Give me a like on this video if you agree with that. That we're the generation that trusts the internet, X, more than the TV, right? People will not watch this MSNBC unless it's a content creator reacting to the news. That's the only way people are going to watch your content. But I digress. I want to get through the video.
You have to go into the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And basically, the way people get information has shattered into 20, 30 different pieces. And so if you just look empirically at the numbers, Joe Rogan's more important than any of us. He just has a much bigger, hyper-connected audience that lives.
Ooh, you heard that sigh? I know y'all heard that sigh. They were sighing. Ooh, let's hear that again. Realization.
Than any of us. He just has a much bigger, hyper-connected audience that listens to his every word. So maybe listen to Joe Rogan and kind of understand, like, what is he talking about? What are the guests that he has on? What are the issues that they care about? Realize that the gravity of right-wing discourse is now taking place on X. It's not Fox. X is what matters. Elon Musk is now, I wrote about this yesterday, arguably the most powerful civilian in the history of the country. He controls information flow. He controls multiple businesses. He has the president's ear. He's going to be in charge of some newfangled organization to gut government spending. We've not seen a person with that kind of clout across those sectors. But where his real power comes from is X. People thought he was an idiot when he bought X because he lost a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. And now he happens to have the most powerful platform on the right.
And that by itself, if Elon Musk wanted to sell X again, I bet you he can get back more than what he spent X on. I'm telling you, with the victory that Donald Trump gained, if Elon Musk said, hey, I want to sell X right now, I bet you he can make more than $44 billion that he spent to get the platform. Everyone's going to say that's a bargain because people are going to realize how much power he has politically because of that platform. If you told the Democrats, hey, if you paid $44 billion to be able to influence over how many millions of people are on X? And you saw the output, the result that X has done on our political discussion, on our political discourse, on our ability to exchange information. What? That is the internet town square. X has become the internet town square for politics. No one goes to news articles anymore. It's a centralized space where people go in, and from there, you find the clips, you find the videos. This is how I'm running my live stream. I'm literally went on X. I found something. Hey, I want to talk about this. Bookmark. Hey, I think my audience will like this. Repost. Oh, let me give my thoughts on this thing. Quote, tweet. Like. I can share everything that I'm seeing. I can share it to you guys in real time. This is what X has become. And they laugh. This is how short-sighted liberals are. This is how short-sighted the left is. And if you had asked me, Kenny, if you were to break down the kind of people that are conservative versus the kind of people that are liberal, this is my perfect analogy for it. People who are liberal are short-term thinkers. They see things in the immediate and present. People who tend to be conservatives are long-term thinkers. They seem to sacrifice the short-term for long-term benefit, right? Oh my God, Kenny, there's no point. Black people will never vote more than 20% for the Republican Party. People was telling me this a couple years ago, right? I remember conservatives like Brandon Tatum, ABL, Candace Owens. I remember reading the comment section and black Democrats getting cocky. Oh, you black conservatives, you guys got no real clout in the black community. No black person is really listening to y'all. All y'all catering to is white people, right? But black conservatives, we didn't listen to them. We kept going. Then I was like, yeah, I'm a conservative. I agree with everything they have to say. Every time I hear a black liberal talk, I never agree with a black liberal. I have to be a conservative. As time went on, boom. Trump from 2020 went from 8% of the black vote, 12% of the black vote, to now 20% of the black vote. Donald Trump has gained 3 elections. He has increased his support in the black community. A tangible change, a tangible shift. And conservatives just keep on going long term. And then one day, black Democrats are going to wake up and realize, damn, black conservatives are 40% of the electorate. But that could be 20 years from now, 15 years from now. But all black Democrats thinking about is right now. Roland Martin was so cocky. Oh, black man ain't going to go for Kamala. Black man ain't going to go for Trump. All these polls about 22% of black men supporting Donald Trump, that's fake. That's fake polls. Those are fake polls. Roland Martin. And then you look at Georgia, 25% went for Donald Trump. You look at Wisconsin, 35% of black men went for Donald Trump. Exposing these fools. Because these dudes, they're basing their insight on lagging data. Conservatives, leading indicators. Leading indicators. Hey, there's a trend that black conservative support increase year over year over year, while while black Democrats are resting on the laurels of their past. And it's the same thing with media. I digress.
And politics is downstream from information. And there's just a whole new information ecosystem out there. So for us, for you, for Democrats, for Republicans, you have to understand that you now are going to have to basically navigate 20 or 30 different parts of the ecosystem if you want to connect with the American people who vote.
You hear that? They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that. Right? The leftists, no one wants to hear that. The never Trumpers, they didn't want to hear that. Right? I have 4 videos that I want to show before I call it off. So, word on the street, I remember I showed a tweet out, a post earlier. If you follow me on X, you'll know what I'm talking about. Is that I heard rumors that left-wing political content creators are losing money because people are unsubscribing from their YouTube channels. And they're starting to get scared for the fact that their livelihood, they put their whole livelihood on the ability to push out propaganda, framing, perception. Because remember, for a liberal, truth isn't what matters. Perception is what matters, right? What they can make you think it is what matters. If they can convince you that they're a dog, they won. While conservatives think, hey, if I can make you see that you're not a dog, I won, right? And David Pakman, the most snobby progressive liberal that I have seen, right? He's the very epitome of a smug liberal, right? He's going to talk about this. So I wanted to share it with you all, as my few closing videos. So here's David Pakman showing his concern about him losing some of his audience. Let's take a look.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting, and I texted Brian Tyler Cohen, and I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar.
Yeah, Sam Cedar, I know. All these guys, I don't know who the hell they are, but I'm guessing they're in his sphere of the political side.
And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
Now, why do you think that is? Let's play a game. Why do you think that is? Because you are wrong. Because you put out false framings, right? One of the clips I seen from his channel when he was looking at his prediction for the election, in my election prediction video, I gave doubts. I say, hey, look, if I'm wrong, this is what's going to happen. If I'm right, this is what I see happening. Trump wins by a landslide. If I'm more in the middle, it's a close race, but Trump inks it out. And I said, that's scenario 1, scenario 2. And I said, the only way I see Kamala winning if it's a close one. I don't see Kamala ever winning in a landslide. Now, David Pacman took the opposite approach that I took. David Pacman said that Donald Trump was only going to win by a close margin if he won, and Kamala was going to win by a landslide at best, and at worst, she's going to win by the margins. That was his prediction. Then when the Seltzer poll, right, that fake poll that said that Kamala was going to win Iowa by 3 points, 4 points, he believed that poll. But when the Atlas poll came out and said, yeah, Trump's going to win all the swing states by 3 to 4 percentage points, they mocked that poll. They said, oh, this is a poll that right-wingers always use to galvanize their base and put out this false narrative that they have a chance in this election, that they're going to win by a landslide. They always over-exaggerate their support in the electorate. And who got proven right election day? Conservatives. If you watch my live stream towards the end, I found one of my chatters in the chat told me to go look at Destiny's stream. I did. Destiny was freaking out. He said, what's going on in Pennsylvania? He was freaking out. Because these guys are wrong. They don't care about observing reality and then basing their theories based on what they observe. If reality shows you your theory is wrong, you must accept that your theory is wrong. That's Feynman. That's Professor Feynman. I live my life by that. If I have a thought, if I have a claim, and then it got proven wrong, I accept the results of my theory. Hey, the Lakers is not going to win the championship. They win 2020. Oh, I guess they won. I reevaluate. Right? But these leftists, they don't do that. Listen to this guy.
What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations.
He said my money.
These are the people that keep the show running.
Keep you running.
Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this and you see a little decline and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, you know, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out.
When things don't go their way, they quit, right? That's the difference between a liberal and a conservative. When things don't go our way, we go, let's reevaluate. 2022, right? I did a live stream. I said, yo, wait, no way abortion is important. I guess it was important in 2022. But, you know, once the women settle down, once they realize, hey, I kind of like this ability that I could vote for abortion in my state and still vote for a Republican on the federal level. I kind of like this arrangement. Landslide victory. Because I reevaluated my position. My position was, hey, the economy should be more important than abortion. That was only true in Florida, by the way. Everywhere else, it wasn't the case. And I accepted that. I said, oh, I was wrong here. I underestimated the ability of abortion in 2022. But in 2024, the liberals, like David here, overestimated the impact of abortion. They underestimated the impact of the woman vote. Sending out campaign ads of women finessing their husbands, lying to their husband about who they supported, who they voted for. And women took the advice and lied to other women about who they supported and who they voted for. And now women mad. Make it make sense. You were happy when you put out this messaging that as women, you should lie to your husband and vote for Kamala Harris behind his back. But then you get mad that women voted for Trump behind your back. Make it make sense, women. If it's good for lying against their husbands, why the hell they wouldn't lie to you? Make it make sense. You would think if I'm married to somebody, I'm going to love them more than I love someone who happens to be in the same gender as me. So you justify me lying to the person that technically, logically, I should love more than a stranger that happens to have the same gender as me. And you think, like, who's more like, think about it. Think about it, women. Think about it. But here they are crying online. I'm tired of white women. Okay, that's your business. They're the majority. You voted exclusively for the Democrats. People ain't mad at you, but you mad at parity. You mad at Latino men. Now you want them all deported because they voted against your best interest. Now you see, okay, if we deport them, Republicans lose votes. That's exactly how I know you've seen it. Liberal. Oh, I need to turn it off. This is what happens when you raise fragile people. This is what happens when you raise a bunch of kids in the education system with self-esteem culture. When something hurts their self-esteem, they have no mental resilience. This is why, if you look at the studies, conservative parents raise more mentally healthy kids. And one of the reasons I believe is the resilience. We teach kids how to handle hardship, how to handle setbacks, how to not to quit. We value perseverance. Conservatives believe in raising strong children. But liberals, what do they think? Oh, we got to call to our kids. We got to protect our kids from trauma. What they say? Sorry is the man that have never known what he's capable of in the face of adversity. Because how are you going to build resilience if you never had an opportunity to test your resilience? That's what setbacks are for. That's what adversity is for. I think this is why Donald Trump is an inspiration merely for the fact that he turned his adversity into an advantage. People doubted him. People said he was never going to come back. He made the biggest political comeback in history. And these libs, they get the election so wrong, they losing subscribers. Oh, don't turn it off. No, please, my money.
And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk.
Who cares about your livelihood, bro?
Because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does. And we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat.
Yeah, because liberals are entitled. Many socialists like him, like David Pakman, they come from middle-class family households. Me, I came from the hood. I came from the gutter, right? Right? Liberals out here, they trying to justify the Department of Education. Oh my God, by the way, middle schoolers can't read. High schoolers can't write a proper essay. College students can't differentiate a scholarly-based article versus propaganda. And adults can't tell when a picture is AI. But sure, get rid of the Department of Education. You made a perfect case for why we should get rid of the Department of Education. Because the Department of Education was there throughout all of this process. You complained by the very products the Department of Education created. And when Donald Trump says we want to eliminate it because it's doing a bad job, you say this to justify keeping the Department of Education. You see how liberals don't make sense? And then they're surprised why their audience is abandoning them because they're realizing, yo, you're not telling me any information that's actually helpful. Right? Democrat influencers are seeing record number of subscription cancellations along with their mass exodus of followers, causing an algorithmic de-subscription spiral. Development comes after many of these influencers gaslit their followers into thinking Harris would win. David Pakman called out his own party for giving up when things get hard. It terrifies me because our instincts is the opposite of what the right does. And we'll get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat. The right wants us to not exist. Okay. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media. No, we don't. We just think we just want to beat you. We want to outcompete you. We don't want you to go extinct. We want you to use you as motivation. You're going to be the fire in our engine. You're going to motivate us to go harder. We need you. We need you here. We need progressive media, right? When the right loses, they get organized. They fund. They create. They instantly organize like Turning Point USA, invest in the Daily Wire, and build out this huge network of right-wing ideas and influencers. We're in an algorithmic desubscription spiral right now because when people start unsubscribing on YouTube, YouTube thinks, oh, we probably shouldn't recommend this content. Now he's scared. I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. He's going to be all right. You know, he's going to be all right, as people from my day says. So speaking of Turning Point USA, I want to talk about Charlie Kirk. And we know I touched upon education a little bit. I think this is going to be my final video before I call it a night, right? So, you know,
I don't want to say too much, but we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, sorry. Charlie Kirk's the man of the hour right now.
Department of Education.
Sorry, give me a sec.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
So,
can I tell you something? Like,
sorry guys, I know I'm really screwing up right now, but we do it live, right? So Charlie Kirk is going to talk about what's going on with the Department of Education. Apparently, he's talking with Trump's administration. If Charlie Kirk, in some form or fashion, becomes involved with the Department of Education, I say do it. Because I talked about on this channel, right, the Trump effect, right? And the biggest Trump effect will be his impact on education. Because I literally think if you want a long-term solution to political critical thinking, people thinking for themselves, having a questioning mind, asking some philosophical questions, I'd rather have a question that can't be answered than an answer that can't be questioned. If you want that kind of mindset, you need to take over the education system. The education needs to be better. Because that is like a philosophy that I will impart into my kids. Like I told my wife as a homeschooling parent right now, if there's one value that I want to instill in my kids, shout out to Professor Feynman. If you know who I'm talking about, he's a guy I like to quote a lot. It's him, Thomas Sowell, and Mark Twain. Those are my three political philosopher thinkers that I like to quote a lot. But Professor Feynman is my favorite one. Ask me a question that I cannot answer than an answer that I cannot question. And this is what the left do. The left likes to put answers that you cannot question. Oh, the reason why there's a wealth gap between the white community and the black community is because of racism. I don't think that's the case. You denying racism, you're denying systematic racism, you're denying institutional racism. That's an answer you cannot question. Rather than, could it be the case that racism isn't the only factor that's dealing with the fact that black people are at the bottom economically compared to white people? If the country is a system that benefits white supremacy, how come Asians, Nigerians, many black immigrants are actually at the top of the income scale in America? They're some of the wealthiest people on average in America, but the country was built on white supremacy. This is why I say when black Democrats, they just have to run into the right one. When black Democrats say, "Oh, y'all don't want to have the race conversation. Y'all don't want to talk about race. Y'all not ready for that conversation." Yeah, you're not ready for that conversation. Because when we start getting into the specifics, this is why I say black Democrats, 2024 and beyond, CRT, identity politics, y'all gonna get wrecked. Especially, like, to me, if someone said, "Hey, Kenny, who would you want Donald Trump to elect as your press secretary, your education secretary or whatever, whoever's in charge of the Department of Education?" Give me Christopher Rufo. What? I read this guy's book. Give me him as the Secretary of Education. This ideological left-wing BS, it'll be thrown out the door immediately. And I think if we want to continue having a strong, critically thinking population, I think the Department of Education is going to be one of the most impactful. It may seem insignificant now, but in 10 years, 20 years, we're going to see the effects of it, especially if we can continue getting Republicans elected and continuing the momentum. But I digress. I think I've been ranting too long. I'm going to give the full 2 minutes to this conversation, and I hope you guys find this conversation and get some insights of how Trump is looking at the Department of Education.
I don't want to say too much, but we're going to have a lot of fun at the Department of Education. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Can I tell you something? Like, I've had quite a few people contact me about that particular post. Like, I'm sure I have 1/100th of what you're getting, but people are contacting me about cabinet posts. I'm like, I got nothing.
I mean, yeah, I'm actually, after this conversation, heading to Mar-a-Lago for a week, and we have a lot to sift through. And if I could be helpful, I have asked. I want to be actively involved in all things education, as you can imagine. And priority, like numero uno, is we're getting all that Title IX stuff fixed, and we're getting that all cleaned up.
Yes.
We're gonna get it. We're getting it done. And
so if you don't know what the Title IX stuff is, it's like this special law where, for some reason, men don't have rights. You don't have legal process when you get accused of stuff. And I'm like, yo, who put this ish, right? Actually, that's not what it is. I think it's supposed to be like you can't discriminate based on protected class status and stuff like that. Whatever the case is, I like the fact that we're going to reform a lot of stuff, because if what we like, this is one of my problem with liberals. they'll get mad at conservatives trying to reform or change something in the system. But I'm like, that only applies if what is currently going on is working. But if you ask a liberal, name me one metric that we have approved on since the Department of Education was created, all you're going to get is blank stares. We spend more money, yet we continually going on a downward spiral in the quality of education. Yet liberals are fighting tooth and nail to protect the Department of Education. Make it make sense.
There's a lot more there, by the way. There's a lot of DEI, CRT, garbage that has come into the Department of Education. Also, we need to say, by the way, this is very important. I will push for President Trump and try to persuade him. We're going to end all affirmative action and hiring practices, is my hope, in federal government hiring.
Good. So now when a black person is actually in a position, we know that they got it because they were qualified, not because of some incentive or some leverage. They use their race as leverage to get that position, right? That's what we would want. We want to, this is the problem with affirmative action and liberals. I don't understand why they can't understand this point. The problem with affirmative action is it gives the appearance of bias. It gives the appearance of privilege based on your race. You're giving a racial advantage to someone because of their skin color. That's a privilege. That's white privilege, right? That's what you accuse white privilege of being. That's what affirmative action is. As the great Thomas Sowell once said, affirmative action is racism under new management. That's the reality. And if you say you're against racism, you cannot be for affirmative action, period. And especially, my biggest gripe with affirmative action is the fact that sometimes it's used to disparage qualified black people when they're actually qualified for the position. Liberals use it as a means of taking credit for the success of a black person, right? If I become successful, a black liberal, a black Democrat will say, oh, Kenny, you'll never have the position to own a house at 28, have enough money to have a stay-at-home wife and maintain her and do all this stuff if it wasn't for affirmative action. And I say cap and lie. Because if you look, when affirmative action got instituted, dropout rates in college for blacks increased after affirmative action was implemented in the 60s. Right? This is where the mismatch theory came from. That we're setting up black people to fail by putting them in institutions that they're not qualified to be in. We're putting them in positions where they don't have quite the skill to maintain the coursework, but because you want to flip off your numbers, you're putting a black person in a position to fail, where you'll be more likely to, you're setting them up for failure. Essentially, that is what affirmative action is. This is why when the companies hit a hard time, a lot of the people who happen to get laid off happen to be women and minorities. Because a lot of those positions, they lowered the standards, or they give more grace to those candidates because they're trying to fit a quota. They're trying to put out a diversity number. They're trying to increase their branding in the woke circles. You're creating an incentive where you care more about looks, where you care about diversity more than merit. And I think going back to meritocracy is the best thing to do, especially that we want to increase the quality of our workforce, the quality of our population, and judging them based on their color of their skin, giving them certain advantages and disadvantages. If you're a white Asian, it's a knock against you when race is supposed to be a neutral factor in a meritocratic institution. And I think education needs to be meritocratic again, instead of trying to use it as a tool to push a political ideology on the youth. And that's what college has effectively become.
We're going to make it merit-based. And these colleges are still doing affirmative action against the Supreme Court. So I hope the Department of Education does some investigations into that. And look, the way it needs to work from this point forward, in my personal and humble opinion, again, I'm not in charge. I'm just going to try to convince people of that and use whatever platform I have, is that federal funding should not continue to schools if you have lunatics like this. Done. Next time a professor like this comes out, there should be a call from whoever the cabinet secretary of education is, say, hey, your funding is suspended until this professor is fired, and it better not continue. And also, DEI, CRT, and black-only dormitories will not be tolerated and will not be subsidized by the federal government.
Yes.
And
right on.
Again, I will say this, and I don't want to get too into the future because I want to just continue to celebrate because we earned it. However, I am so encouraged, Megan, based on how the Trump team is. They are saying this phrase over and over again: fulfill the mandate, fulfill the mandate. And boy, there's a team of all-stars coming together.
What?
That
Hey, one thing I know about Vivek, he gonna come and cook. He's gonna come and cook, right? And I think it doesn't feel right unless, I ended off with the Trump effect. I swear I had the Trump effect somewhere here. Just give me a second to find this thing. Because it is nothing sweeter, right? That the fact that Trump won the popular vote is that he's like, yo, I'm mandated to do what I need to do. We need to fix this stuff. And the fact that the left, I just showed you Gavin Newsom. He's here trying to organize a resistance against Trump's agenda. Like make it make sense. Are you fighting for the American people? Are you fighting for the interests of the American people, Gavin Newsom? Or are you fighting the interests of yourself and your party? Because if you're fighting for the interests of the American people, hey, the American people spoke and they made Trump the most popular president in recent memory. And he gave them power. And instead of trying to understand Trump, instead of saying, okay, look, yeah, we can't sustain this because you're putting your citizens in a lot of debt to maintain these illegals in your state. No, you see it as a payment of, hey, this is how I further cement my political power, right? And JD Vance kind of gave a warning about, this stuff with Tucker Carlson. I think I want to play this little snippet of it because this is the Trump effect. Trump is going to go out there, mass deport, right? Because this is what he ran on, right? This is what we're going to hold him accountable for, right? Job's not finished. We expect this from Donald Trump. We expect mass deportation. And he has to fulfill that or else his election is not a success. And JD Vance is going to highlight things that the media is already going to do. You already hear it. I already gave you a snippet with Gavin Newsom. He said he's going to resist Trump. Letitia James, she says she's going to continue fighting against Trump. All these Democrats, Kathy Hochul, signaling that they're going to resist Trump at every turn. JD Vance already warned you guys of this in a Tucker Carlson interview, and I want to play this snippet to give more kind of context around what I'm going for.
Trump's main campaign platforms, one of the main things that he talks about, and of course, I think he learned in some ways the hard way during his first 4 years in office, is the president recognizes that if you have people in your government who you tell to do something and they disobey you, that's not like checks and balances. They're part of your government.
Yes.
The check and balance is the House, the Senate, the judiciary, right?
Yes. And then the fact that Democrats are saying, oh, Donald Trump is going to pick a bunch of loyalists. This is why. Because the first time, he didn't pick people based on loyalty. He picked them based on, oh, yeah, they were recommending to me. You said, I'm trying to be bipartisan a little bit. And it got in his way. And it wasted a lot of his time. He still did a lot, given the fact that he had all these people against him in his own administration. And that's why there's a lot of bad blood against people who used to work for him, because he told them to do something and they went against what he said and they constantly fought him at every corner. Of course he's going to justify, of course he wants loyalty. Of course he's going to make the first woman chief of staff, his campaign manager, the first woman chief of staff, because he trusts her. She helped him win. And he made her chief of staff. And he didn't give her the position. He didn't say, I promise to America right now that I'm going to make the chief of staff a woman. No, he didn't say that. He didn't give no promises. He said, whoever's the best for the job, I'm going to put them in there. This lady, Susan, she just happens to be a woman. That's the meritocracy that I'm talking about. And the left, they go, oh, look at Trump. He's playing identity politics. He put a white woman as the first woman chief of staff. No, she was competent. She led his campaign to victory. She led his campaign to the blowout landslide that you took a beating from, Democrats. And now he's picking her to be his chief of staff. Smart pick by him. Already filling a high position with someone who's loyal to him, someone he knows for a long time. She ran this campaign flawlessly. Helped manage it, helped organize it, put the right people around him. Howard Lutz, I forgot his name, the guy who explained tariffs excellently and very simply. Howard something. He did Deutsche Train with Elon. Trump is putting good people around him. And this is why many people are optimistic about his administration. And I'll be damned if I let the Democrats get in the way of that without no retribution, without them hearing it from my mouth. I don't care I got a small following. I don't care how little my audience is. 7 people can do a lot of impact on the world. And I'm going to use my voice. Like, I'm not going to let the Democrats get in the way of this. Not without saying something, at least.
People in your own government aren't obeying you. You have got to get rid of them and replace them with people who are responsive to what the president is trying to do. If you don't have that, you don't have a real democratic accountability.
Got to be a nut cutter because that's the system at stake.
That's right.
That's democratic control. How do voters have any control over their government if the people they elect have no control?
That's exactly right, man. And again, it's we have to sort of remind ourselves that it's real people who suffer because of this, right? There are Americans who are dead because the Joint Chiefs of Staff didn't listen to the President of the United States when he said you need to do troop redeployments out of Syria. There are veterans who are dead because the VA does not function as well as it could because the president needs to be able to fire, again, the small number of people who aren't doing their job. And that same story repeats itself, rinse and repeat through the entire American government. You have got to have basic democratic accountability. And I think, most Americans recognize, like, look, we're fine with, bureaucrats making a reasonable salary. We're fine with people having a good life, but they've got to do their job, right? When you're in public service, you have got to do your job.
Exactly. You have to do your job, right? And YouTube's giving me a warning that I might get copyrighted. But for the main part of this video, JD Vance explains what's next following the interview that was filmed before the election. Imagine, Trump will fire all the people within the federal government who will work to obstruct him. Fine, that's great. Media will then work to manipulate the public and political leaders into not doing the things that American people actually want. And this is what I think will be the next fight in the next 4 years. This, right? Because when Trump starts going for mass deportation, right? Throwing these people out, deporting families together. Hey, look, your mom broke the law. You got to go with her. We don't want to separate you guys because you just finished crying about separating kids from parents. So we're going to deport you together. I hope you have a good life. Mexico is already breaking up the massive caravan that tried to come and cross to the U.S. through Mexico. The Trump effect, right? Trump will start mass deportation, which will trigger the media to release fake public polls claiming Americans don't actually support mass deportation, even though they do. The fight just gets started. Look, Trump's going to have to push through right here, right? And I'm going to do my damn best to fight against this. Because we all know how manipulative the mainstream media is. We know how manipulative Democrat liberals can be. Today, I just showed you a bunch of videos of how they sitting here saying, oh, you guys voted for Trump. He's going to deport you. He's going to have you picking cotton, says the white liberal online. But then they ignore the fact that Putin is already talking about he's going to take Trump's peace plan seriously. European Union is already talking about going to buy oil for Trump because they're scared of the tariffs, which people say, tariffs are going to raise taxes. They're going to raise money on the people. Not knowing that Trump's using it as a negotiation tool, but liberals out of context are saying Trump's going to raise tariffs on everybody. It's going to cost a lot of money. Dummies. It's a negotiation tool, and it's working. European Union is going to buy oil from us now. Russia wants to sell their oil in the U.S. dollar. After we just finished losing under Biden our petrodollar from Saudi Arabia. Hey, that's a good replacement, Russian oil. China's talking about working well together because of the tariffs. Weak leadership makes tariffs ineffective because they're going to call your bluff. And that's what they did to Joe Biden. They called his bluff. He sanctioned Russia. Did Russia look like he was affected by the sanction? No. Trump gets in office. I'm ready for peace talks now. What a difference strength makes, huh? It's the difference between, when the strict dad, and I'm going to end it off right here. Trump is like the strict dad versus the nice doormat dad. When the nice doormat dad says, hey, Jimmy, don't do that. Jimmy ain't going to respect you. He ain't going to be like, what is my annoying dad? But then when strict dad comes, hey, Jimmy, don't do that. Yes, sir. If I don't listen, I'm in for some trouble. That's Trump. Don't step a foot into Ukraine or I'll bomb Moscow. You take a toe out of line, son, I'm punishing you. You're going to get some pat on the butt. You're going to go on a timeout on your knees. That's Trump. That's the Trump effect. Hey, I'm going to tariff your ass 60% if you don't loosen this crap you're doing right here. He might do it. I got to listen. That's the difference. That's the Trump effect. But the mainstream media, they don't understand these contexts. Right? They like to take Trump literally so they can frame it in some negative light. Oh, he wants no tax on tips. It's going to cost this amount of money to be lost in the federal government. Kamala Harris says the same thing. They spin it in a positive light. Make it make sense. Our mainstream media. So don't fall for this, guys. Right? When Trump starts mass deporting people, they're going to bring out all these fake polls. They're gonna pull Democrats only and say, look, majority of Americans do not like the fact that Trump is mass deporting. How come a couple of years ago, before Trump won the presidency, 54% of Americans believe in mass deportation? So how come it changed all of a sudden? This is the Trump effect, guys. Thank you, Donald Trump. Back to back. Right? Right? The Trump effect, right? Washington Post already crying. Donald Trump has a long list of executive orders he said he wants to carry out on his potential first day in the White House. Among them, begin mass deportation, eliminating perks for electric vehicles. Of course. Why would I want my government to subsidize the private market? Why would I want my government to create incentives in the private market? That's the problem. If I incentivize a certain behavior, I'm asking for more of it. This is why electric vehicles are not selling. We have so much electric vehicles and not enough demand for it. They're just sitting in the lots getting dust because of these mandates. The government's giving the corporations free money to create electrical vehicles that nobody wanted. This is essentially the government trying to force something on you. But look at the Washington Post frame it. Oh, it's a bad thing. No electrical vehicles. I like Elon Musk. Elon Musk likes electrical vehicles. I'm not a big fan of electrical vehicles, but this is Elon Musk's model. I want you to buy Tesla because you believe Tesla is the best car on the market, not because Tesla is an electrical car. That's the difference between a liberal and a conservative. A conservative will buy something if it's a good product. A liberal will buy something because it fits a political message. I don't care if this is a piece of crap car. I want green energy, all this stuff. I'm going to buy it because it's an electrical car. He wants to ban trans women from women's sports. The fact that you wrote this means trans women isn't women. But, this is Washington Post. Right? People, look, J.D. Vance has surprised me so much since Trump picked him. I honestly could see him becoming president in 2028. The Trump effect. Everyone doubted J.D. Vance. They're like, oh, who is this guy? He should have picked Vivek. Trump made a misfire here. He should have picked Glenn Youngkin. How you like him now? No one's saying that now. No one's saying that now. Oh, Trump should have picked Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin was a better pick, said all the pundits online. I was like, yo, give J.D. Vance a chance. Trump sees something in him. Trust his judgment. And oh boy, now everyone likes him. I think Vance also needs to come out sooner on podcasts. The left dominated the weird thing and brainwashed many. Couldn't have been further from the truth. But I digress, guys. I'll leave it off at there, man. I think I ranted enough. I appreciate you guys watching to the end. I'm happy Trump won, right? The Trump effect is in real effect. My father, I talked to him. Me and him, we talked about how we feel optimistic. We feel strangely positive because my dad said it's because you're looking forward to the future instead of worrying about the future. And I said, damn, Dad, I think you're right. And I think that is the message I'll leave off here as we go into Veterans Day weekend. I hope you guys enjoy Veterans Day. For me, it's a 3-day weekend. I'm enjoying my time with my family. I'm going to enjoy my time with my kids. Especially looking forward to the future, looking forward to what the world could be. But remember, it ain't over yet. Job's not finished. We have to continue fighting. We have to continue pushing back because the left ain't stopping. You see the left? You see these delusional people online, they're not going to stop. So we're not going to stop. So right now, we're going to enjoy our victory. We're going to enjoy our time. And then we get right back into the thick of things. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the stream. Don't forget to leave me a like in the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know your favorite segment. I should have timestamp out maybe by tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty tired. You know, I had a long 8-hour stream. I'm crazy for watching it, but hey, you get to see me react in real time of history being made. And that's something I'll probably watch back with my son. Maybe one day when my son's old enough, I'll send him, I say, hey, look, this is the time where America started making the turnaround. And that's the vision that I fight for. Because unlike the left, I think many people on the left, they fight for their own personal interests. But as a conservative, many people on the conservative movement, I believe they fight for a better future for those coming after us. And that's what I'm fighting for. That's what motivates me to put out these videos, regardless of how many views I get, regardless of how many dislikes I get. I believe that it's my duty to document and highlight my vision, my worldview, my thoughts, because I believe it's actually helping people out there. And I appreciate you guys watching this long little outro of mine. I promise I'll be finished. I hope to see you guys on the next live stream. I'll see you guys on the next video. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Veterans Day. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.